Blessings, my people. Today we are focusing on two stories that have been generating serious conversation in dancehall. First, there is a reported development in the legal situation involving Mavada's son Dante Brooks, with Foota Hype claiming that one of the cases has been resolved. Then we are turning to Vanessa Bling, who has responded to the criticism surrounding her support for Massacre following his solo Barclays Center performance. So let's get straight into it. My people, let's start with Dante Brooks, the son of dancehall entertainer Mavado. For years now, Dante Brooks has been dealing with a complicated legal situation that has attracted significant attention from the Jamaican entertainment community. And according to dancehall selector Foota Hype, there has been a new development. Foota Hype came forward on social media expressing happiness over what he described as a major breakthrough in Dante's legal situation. According to Foota, one of the cases involving Dante has now been dealt with, leaving one remaining matter. That is a very important distinction because people need to understand that this does not mean that every legal issue surrounding Dante has disappeared. What Foota Hype is saying is that one case is reportedly no longer active, rather than an official court judgment presented publicly in the discussion. We have to be careful about treating every detail as confirmed. That is important. Whenever we are talking about someone's criminal case, someone's freedom, or someone's future, you cannot simply take social media statements and automatically treat them as the final legal position. But the fact that Foota Hype came forward with this information is still significant because he has been very vocal about Dante's situation. Foota had repeatedly called for Dante Brooks to be released and has expressed his belief that the young man deserves another opportunity to move forward with his life. And this latest statement suggests that Foota believes there has finally been some movement in that direction. From his perspective, this is something worth celebrating. His message was essentially that one of Dante's cases has been removed, leaving one more legal matter to be resolved. He also indicated that Dante is expected back in court in September, and Foota was not simply celebrating the reported development. He was also making it clear that he wants the remaining situation dealt with as well. In other words, his position is one matter has reported been resolved, now deal with the other one. That is the message Foota Hype appears to be sending. And when you listen to the tone of his comment, you can hear that this is not simple entertainment talk for him. He clearly feels strongly about Dante's situation. He has been following the case, he has spoken publicly about it before, and now that he believes there has been some progress, he is using his platform to bring attention to it. To understand why this latest development matters, we have to remember what Dante Brooks already been through. Dante was previously convicted in connection with the 2018 KILLING of Lorenzo Thomas in Cassava P. St. Andrew. The case also involved charges connected to illegal possession of a firearm. In 2021, Dante was convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment with a period of 22 years before becoming eligible for parole. For someone so young, that was obviously a life-changing sentence. But the story did not end there. In March 2025, the court appeal overturned Dante's conviction. The appeal raised serious concerns surrounding the identification of evidence and the prosecution case. That decision resulted in Dante being released from custody after spending years behind bar. No, that part of the story is extremely important because when someone spends years incarcerated and then as their conviction overturned, the situation becomes much more complicated than simply saying he was convicted. The legal process has continued, the conviction was challenged, and ultimately the court's appeal found sufficient issues with the case to overturn the conviction. conviction. So Dante was released, but his freedom did not remain completely uncomplicated. In July 2025, Dante became involved in another incident in Cassava Peace. By October of that year, he was facing new allegations involving charges including assault at common law, unlawful wounding, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a prohibited weapon to commit a scheduled offense. And according to the information presented, that newer legal matter continued into 2026. This is why Foota Hype's latest statement is generating attention. If one of those matters has now been dismissed or otherwise resolved, as Foota claimed, that could represent an important development for Dante. But again, people, we have to separate what has been publicly claimed from what has been officially confirmed. That is especially important when we are discussing criminal allegation. Being charged does not automatically mean somebody is guilty, and a person being accused of something doesn't mean the accusation itself is proof. The court is where the evidence is tested. That is why the legal process matters. Now, some people might ask, why is Foota so invested in this particular situation? Well, Foota has been one of the loudest voices publicly discussing Dante's case. He has repeatedly called for his freedom, and now he appears to believe that the legal situation is moving in a direction that could benefit the young man. Foota has also suggested that if the situation wasn't dealt with properly, he would be prepared to speak out more forcefully on social media. That is another reason why this story could continue developing, because Foota is not presenting himself as somebody who intends to remain silent. He has made it clear that he is watching the situation closely. So what should we be watching for? The next important date mentioned in the report from Foota is September, when Dante is expected to return to court regarding the remaining matter. That appearance could provide more clarity. People will want to know exactly which case Foota was referring to. They will want to know what happened with that matter, and most importantly, they will want to know what happened with the remaining case. Until official information becomes available, we should not get ahead of ourselves. We should not say Dante is completely free of all legal problem. We should not say that every charge has disappeared, and we should not create details that have not been confirmed. What we can say is that Foota Hype is reporting that one of the cases has been dealt with, and he is celebrating that as a positive development. If confirmed, that's obviously significant. Another thing we have to remember is that Dante is not just another name appearing in a court report. He is the son of Mavado, one of Jamaica's biggest dancehall entertainers. That automatically places a huge amount of public attention on anything involving him. Mavado's career has been watched internationally for years. He is one of the most recognizable names from the modern dancehall era. So whenever something happens involving his son, people naturally pay attention. But Dante is also an individual who has to face the legal process on his own. And that is why we should not reduce his entire identity to simply be Mavado's son. Whatever happens next, the legal process should be allowed to take its course. Personally, I think the most important thing here is clarity. If one case has genuinely been dismissed, the public should eventually be able to understand exactly what happened through reliable legal information. And if another case remains, then that matter should proceed through the proper channels. That is how justice is supposed to work. Nobody should be celebrating somebody going to prison simply because they don't like them. At the same time, nobody should be demanding that the legal system ignore allegation simply because they support the person involved. We have to find that balance. Support your favorite artist, support their family, but still respect the legal process. That is the responsible position. So for now, we are watching September, and we are watching to see whether additional information becomes available regarding the matter that Footer Hype say has already been resolved. Now, my people, let's move over to another story that has created serious discussion in dancehall, and this one involves Vanessa Bling, also known as Gaza Slim. Vanessa Bling has found herself at the center of criticism from some members of the Gaza fan base after continuing to show support for Massacre. And after Massacre major performance at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, Vanessa made a post that many people interpreted as her response to the negativity. Her message was simple but powerful. She spoke about loving being stronger than it, and that statement immediately got people talking. To understand why this has become such a big discussion, you have to understand Vanessa Bling history. Vanessa Bling, who has been closely associated with Vybz Kartel and the Gaza movement, has a long history connected to that era of dancehall. She has performed songs associated with Kartel. She has been part of that musical history. So when fans see Vanessa publicly supporting Massacre, some of them interpret that through the lens of Gaza versus everybody else. And that is where the controversy begins. Some supporters have accused her of abandoning or turning her back on the Gaza movement. Others have called her a sellout. Some people have even gone further and questioned whether she should continue performing songs associated with Vybz Kartel. But here is a question I want everybody to think about. Does supporting Massacre automatically mean Vanessa Bling has stopped respecting Vybz Kartel? That is where the conversation becomes much more complicated. In my opinion, Vanessa is an adult, she's an artist, and she has the right to decide who she wants to support professionally and personally. If she wants to attend a Massacre concert, she can attend a Massacre concert. If she wants to perform with Massacre, that's her decision. If she wants to collaborate with another artist, that's her decision. Music is business, music is also a culture, and artists are allowed to evolve. The fact that Vanessa has history with Vybz Kartel does not mean she is permanently locked into a relationship or a one musical camp. That is something fans have to understand. After the show, Vanessa shared her thoughts and spoke about how beautiful it was to see love outweigh hate. No, you don't have to be a genius to understand why that statement caught people attention. She knew what was happening online. She knew some people were criticizing her. She knew some Gaza supporters were not happy with her decision to support Massacre, yet she chose to focus on the positive. That's important. Instead of spending all her time arguing with every person in the comments, Vanessa basically communicated that the love and support she was experiencing meant more to her than the negativity. That is a very different approach from engaging in an endless social media war. So, my people, we have two very different stories here. One side, you have Dante, the son of Mavado, and a reported development in his ongoing legal situation. The next important development is expected around Dante reported September court appearance. Then you have Vanessa Bling, who has decided that the criticism surrounding her support for Massacre is not going to stop her from showing love. She appeared at Massacre Barclays Center performance. So, my question to you is, do you believe Footer Hype reported update on Dante represents a major breakthrough? And when it comes to Vanessa Bling, do you believe she should be free to support Massacre without being attacked by Gaza fans? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. And remember, you can support your favorite artist without destroying another artist. This is the Daily Scoop, bringing you the conversation happening across dancehall and Jamaican entertainment. Big up yourself, stay safe, and until next time, respect.